Pain is not meaningless. It is not without consequence. The suffering you endured at the hands of another, whether through betrayal, manipulation, or cruelty, was not an isolated event, and it was not without cost. People often believe they can act without repercussions, that they can harm others and simply move forward, unaffected, untouchable. But life does not work that way. The pain they inflicted will return to them in ways they cannot anticipate, because suffering is a debt that always comes due. You may look at them now and think they have escaped justice. You may wonder why they get to move on while you are left to pick up the pieces. But let me tell you something. You do not need to witness their downfall for it to be real. The world has a way of balancing itself, and no one truly gets away with cruelty. People who destroy others do not live peaceful lives. They may put on a facade, they may appear happy, but beneath it all they are carrying something heavy, something inescapable. Guilt is not an abstract concept. It is a psychological and emotional weight that follows people like a shadow. It affects their relationships, their sleep, their thoughts, their ability to feel joy. You do not have to be there when it catches up to them. It will, whether you see it or not. Every action we take sets something into motion. The way we treat others, the choices we make, and the words we speak, they all have consequences, even if those consequences are not immediate. Some people go through life thinking they can act without accountability, that they can manipulate, betray, or harm others and walk away untouched. But reality does not work like that. Life has a way of bringing everything full circle. What you put out into the world eventually finds its way back to you. There is a misconception that if consequences do not arrive instantly, they never will. But just because justice is not immediate does not mean it is absent. Sometimes the seeds of destruction take time to grow. Sometimes the weight of a person's actions doesn't come crashing down until years later. But make no mistake, it always comes. Whether it's lost trust, broken relationships, or a deep internal emptiness, no one escapes the impact of their own actions. You can fool others, you can even fool yourself for a time, but you cannot escape the truth of what you have done. At the same time, this truth applies not just to negative actions, but to positive ones as well. Just as harm returns to those who cause it, goodness also finds its way back. You may not see the rewards of your hard work, kindness, and integrity right away, but they are accumulating beneath the surface. Every good choice you make, every effort you put in, every moment of discipline, it all adds up. The results may take time, but they are coming. Patience is what separates those who understand the long game of life from those who live recklessly in the moment. Those who choose to do the right thing, even when no one is watching. The results may take time, but those who choose to do the right thing, even when no one is watching. Those who choose to do the right thing, even when no one is watching. Those who choose to do the right thing, even when no one is watching. Those who choose to do the right thing, even when no one is watching. Those who choose to do the right. What you do today shapes what you will experience tomorrow. The consequences are coming. Whether for better or worse is up to you. Guilt is not something you can outrun. It doesn't disappear just because you ignore it. And it doesn't fade simply because time has passed. It lingers in the back of the mind, in the quiet moments when there are no distractions to drown it out. It is the weight carried by those who have acted without integrity, who have hurt others, who have made choices they know deep down were wrong. People may convince themselves that they have moved on, that their actions are behind them, but guilt is not bound by time. It follows, it waits, and it resurfaces when least expected. Many people try to suppress guilt, burying it under distractions, achievements, or even self-deception. They tell themselves it wasn't their fault, that it wasn't a big deal, that life just moves on. But no matter how much they try to justify or explain away their actions, the mind remembers. The subconscious holds on to the truth even when the conscious mind tries to rewrite it. And this creates an internal conflict, a battle between what is true and what they wish were true. That battle doesn't just affect emotions, it affects everything. It seeps into relationships, into decision making, into the way a person views themselves. Guilt changes people. It creates restlessness. It creates anxiety. It erodes confidence. Someone who carries unresolved guilt cannot fully experience joy because there is always a shadow over it. They might not even understand why they feel uneasy, why they struggle with self-worth, why they can't seem to find peace. But at the core of it is a truth they have refused to face. The reality that they have done something they know they shouldn't have, and they have yet to make it right. But guilt is not just a burden, it is also an opportunity. It exists for a reason. It is the mind's way of telling a person that something needs to change. Those who refuse to acknowledge it will continue to suffer under its weight, but those who face it, who take responsibility, who seek to make amends, those are the people who find freedom. Growth does not come from avoiding guilt. It comes from confronting it, learning from it, and becoming better because of it. Life has a way of balancing itself. Every action, every word, and every decision we make sends ripples through the world. And whether we realize it or not, those ripples always return to us. People often expect karma to be instant, as if justice should arrive in the same moment harm is done. But the truth is, karma does not work on our timeline. It operates on its own, ensuring that everyone, in the end, faces the reality of what they have created. Some people move through life believing they can get away with anything. They lie, manipulate, betray, and harm others, thinking that if there are no immediate consequences, then they are in the clear. But what they fail to understand is that consequences are not always visible in the moment. Just because you don't see a person suffering today does not mean they are free from the impact of their choices. Sometimes karma works silently, dismantling their peace, their relationships, and their sense of self from the inside out. The guilt they suppress, the trust they lose, the bridges they burn, these things add up, and one day they will have to face what they have done. At the same time, this truth applies to those who continue to do the right thing, even when it seems unnoticed. It can feel unfair when you work hard, stay honest, and treat people with kindness, yet you see others who take shortcuts or act without integrity getting ahead. But don't mistake delay for absence. The rewards of patience, discipline, and goodness take time to build. The person who remains consistent, who refuses to be swayed by the wrong path, will always outlast those who chase immediate gratification. Karma does not forget. It is not random, and it is not something you need to enforce yourself. Life sees what you do, whether in darkness or in light, and it responds accordingly. The best thing you can do is focus on being the kind of person who welcomes the return of their own energy, because in the end, what you put out into the world is what will come back to you. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but it is certain. Healing is the most powerful thing you can do, not just for yourself, but in response to those who have hurt you. When someone betrays, abandons, or mistreats you, they often expect you to remain broken. They expect their words to echo in your mind, their actions to keep you stuck, and their presence to remain a shadow over your life. But the moment you choose to heal, you take that power away from them. Pain is real, and so is the damage it causes. No one is asking you to pretend it didn't happen, to minimize what you went through, or to act as if you were never hurt. But what you do with that pain is what matters. You can allow it to define you, to shape your every thought, to make you bitter and resentful, or you can use it as fuel to build something better. The people who tried to break you do not deserve to have a hold over your future. They do not deserve to dictate your happiness, your self-worth, or the way you see the world. Healing is not about forgiveness for them. It is about freedom for you. It is about refusing to let their actions become the reason you stop believing in yourself. It is about waking up and realizing that their cruelty was never a reflection of your value. The moment you step into your strength, the moment you start creating a life filled with purpose, joy, and success, you prove that they did not win. You prove that they were wrong about you. Some people hurt others because they are weak themselves. They tear others down to feel powerful. They enjoy control, and they thrive on the idea that they left a permanent wound. But nothing frustrates such people more than seeing you rise beyond them, seeing you smile again, seeing you build a life that no longer revolves around them. When you heal, when you grow, when you stop looking back, you take away the satisfaction they once had. The best revenge is not anger. It is not waiting for them to suffer. It is not proving anything to them at all. The best revenge is becoming so whole, so untouchable, that their existence becomes irrelevant. Healing is not just for you. It is the silent, unseen punishment for those who thought they had the power to break you. There are things in life that are simply beyond your control. No matter how much you analyze, worry, or fight against them, some situations will unfold in ways you never expected. People will betray you. Opportunities will slip away. Injustices will occur. And in those moments, you will be faced with a choice. You can either exhaust yourself trying to control the uncontrollable, or you can learn to trust that life has its own way of handling things. Letting go is not weakness. It does not mean you are giving up or that you are allowing yourself to be defeated. It means understanding that some battles are not yours to fight. It means recognizing that constantly replaying the past in your mind or trying to force things to go your way will only drain you. Some people spend years holding on to anger, chasing after validation, or trying to make sense of why certain things happened. But the truth is, not everything will have a clear answer. Not everything will be fair. And that is when you must decide if your peace is worth more than your need for control. Trusting life does not mean being passive. It does not mean you stop striving, stop working, or stop standing up for yourself. It means doing everything you can within your power and then releasing what is not yours to carry. It means understanding that justice, balance, and truth have a way of surfacing in their own time. The people who mistreated you, the opportunities that were stolen, the moments that felt unfair. These things will be handled by forces far greater than your frustration. Your job is not to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. Your job is to focus on becoming stronger, wiser, and more resilient despite what life throws your way. When you stop trying to control what is beyond you, you free yourself to put energy into the things that truly matter. Your growth, your purpose, your happiness. Because the truth is, life always finds a way to balance itself. And when you learn to trust that, you gain something far more powerful than control. You gain peace. Life will take care of them in its own way. But you are responsible for what comes next. You have a choice. Stay trapped in the pain they caused, or use it to build something greater than they could ever destroy. Choose to rise. Choose to heal. Choose to prove, not to them, but to yourself, that they never had the power to break you